kind of crazy. You don't hear of things like Walmart closing. Walmart.
A shocker tonight for suburban shoppers. Walmart announcing it's closing 3 stores.
The stores to be closed are spread across the area from north to south in Lincolnwood, Plainfield, and Homewood. The Homewood announcement is being met with criticism from customers and the mayor.
Imagine this. Every part of your daily life is somehow tied to Walmart. This is the same company that proudly announced everyday low prices. But now you suddenly hear every Walmart product just got more expensive. Prices that were once affordable are now out of reach. Or even worse, here Walmart might stop operating in the US entirely.
For generations, Walmart wasn't just a store, it was a symbol. With over 4,600 stores and 1.6 million American workers, it stood as the single largest private employer in the country and a lifeline for millions of working-class families. But now, that lifeline is unraveling.
That tight feeling in your chest? Yeah, that's real, because the bowl you eat from is slowly turning into China's. Walmart and its long-standing presence in America is on the verge of collapse. Walmart wasn't just a store, it was hope, a giant industry built to serve your daily needs. But now, suddenly an announcement hits. The most helpful company for average Americans, Walmart, is being crushed by rising tariffs. Walmart is trying to keep prices low, but it's impossible to fight against the wave of tariffs. And because of that, you'll now have to pay more for everything at Walmart. Yes, this is really happening. But the problem doesn't stop at tariffs. Walmart is now struggling to survive in the investor market too. Because with these extra costs, Walmart's budget looks terrible. No investor believes they will make profits anymore. So now, even the stock market is turning its back on Walmart.
Investors took notice. Walmart stock, initially shaken, rebounded as analysts recognized a sobering truth. By abandoning the constraints of the American industrial framework, Walmart had regained its strategic edge. Retail competitors, still tethered to US suppliers and labor costs, simply couldn't keep up. While Walmart streamlined logistics through Singapore and Rotterdam, small-town America was left to deal with the fallout.
This issue just got even bigger. People are worried. If a company like Walmart shuts down, what will happen to the average American? Because it's Walmart that millions rely on for food and basic survival. And if that source is cut off, then things like wants or hobbies won't matter. You won't even be able to afford your needs.
It's kind of crazy. You don't hear of things like Walmart closing. Walmart.
A shocker tonight for suburban shoppers. Walmart announcing it's closing 3 stores.
The stores to be closed are spread across the area from north to south in Lincolnwood, Plainfield, and Homewood. The Homewood announcement is being met with criticism from customers and the mayor.
Tonight we have new information about Walmart's plan to close 2 of its San Diego stores. You wanted to know why they're shutting down, and CBS 8's Shannon Handy has been working for you to get some answers.
In May 2025, Walmart, the quintessential American retail behemoth, sent shockwaves through the economy with an announcement that shattered its long-standing identity as the nation's low-price leader. Prices were set to surge, driven by a new wave of tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump. This wasn't just about pricier avocados or toys. It was a seismic shift involving global supply chains, automation, and political firestorms emanating from the Oval Office.
But how did we even get here? All thanks to Trump's lovely decision to hit China with heavy tariffs. Because whenever Trump, without any deep analysis, decides to slap China with 125% tariffs, China doesn't just sit there. They hit back with their own 145% tariffs on America. And now, Walmart has to pay these crazy import-export fees on Chinese goods. That's why you're seeing insane price hikes in Walmart products.
Baby gear inventory is exposed to tariff-inflated Chinese imports. Trump's public response: Walmart should eat the tariffs. But as Procter & Gamble, Mattel, and even Target echo similar warnings, the logic appears detached from operational reality.
And when people question the Trump administration, why are these tariffs still active if they're hurting us? Trump goes silent. Even his own secretaries awkwardly mumble, well, Trump is trying to do what's best for the companies.
Does he acknowledge that if companies don't absorb the full cost, Americans will have to pay?
Well, first of all, the CEO of Walmart made those comments about the tariffs on an earnings call where CEOs, I believe, are legally obligated to give the most dire warnings and forecasts to their investors and stakeholders. The reality is, as the president has always maintained, Chinese producers will be absorbing the cost of these tariffs. And that is why China was so quick to hustle to the negotiating table with the United States of America. They need our markets, they need our consumers. And I would again point you to the inflation report that came out out last week, showing that inflation is declining, in large part because energy prices are dropping across the board in this country because of the president's robust energy agenda that he has taken since January 20th. So the president is committed to ensuring that prices remain low for American consumers, and he maintains the position that foreign countries will absorb these tariffs.
Feels more like a man just trying to hold it together, right? Like someone barely swimming to stay afloat. Did we ever stop and ask, where will America be in 2029 if this continues? Whether Trump is in office or not, the damage from these tariffs will still haunt America. Even experts now agree. What's happening to Walmart is not okay.
Walmart is, in fact, going to as you describe it, eat some of the tariffs. This is all from their earnings call, and on an earnings call, you have to give the worst case scenario.
Well, that's not really what happened, Scott Bessent. Let's take a look at what really is going on with Walmart and some of these other retailers. Trump and his officials are desperately trying now to do damage control after Walmart warned that they're planning to raise their prices because of the tariffs. Not quite eating them. But before we get to that, let's look at what's really set the president off. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon said last Thursday on the earnings call that you heard Bessent talking about, we will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible, but given the magnitude of the tariffs, even at the reduced levels announced this week, we are not able to absorb all the pressure given the reality of narrow retail margins. The higher tariffs will result in higher prices.
And this isn't the end. Soon many Americans may lose their jobs, because Walmart isn't just a store, it's a lifeline for poor and middle-class workers.
According to Reuters, that decision wiped out over 4,000 U.S. jobs. And then there was Mid-Continent Nail in Missouri, America's largest nail manufacturer, forced to lay off 60% of its workforce in less than 6 months after steel input prices surged 25%. Walmart, however, represents a different scale entirely. With over 4,600 stores and 150 million weekly customers, its strategic realignment is not a protest, it's a market signal.
But now the MAGA supporters are saying something completely different. They don't actually understand what a tariff is or who ends up paying for it. They don't realize that tariffs are paid by everyday Americans and that these costs will skyrocket prices, yet the MAGA supporters are turning a blind eye.
Who pays the tariffs?
The Chinese government pays the tariff.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. The government that is manufacturing that product, I just want it to be even. Instead of us paying 400% of tariffs, good. I'm
an importer and an exporter.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
Okay.
When a product comes into the US, there's something called a tariff sheet.
Okay.
I, as the buyer of that product, follow US law and pay the tariff. Some goods are tariff free. But when I pay that tariff, I'm an American citizen, an American taxpayer, right? That tariff might be 1%, it might be 7%, okay. It might be 14%. That means I'm a US company, I pay that tariff to the US government, and that increase in the cost of the product, I then sell to you for a higher price because I've got to cover that tariff.
The truth is, most MAGA supporters don't even realize how serious this moment is. They don't understand what a tariff really means or who ends up paying for it. It's not some foreign country footing the bill. It's every American out of their own pocket. Prices will go through the roof, but they're still turning a blind eye. So wherever you go, these tariffs are right behind you, ready to crush your wallet. If Walmart, a giant, is now losing money, then the future holds nothing but pain for regular people. There will be no shortage of suffering in the coming years. So keep watching, stay connected with us. We'll keep breaking it all down before everything breaks you down.